this political analysis, guys. There's so much in it. We just do some little bit in 40 minutes and that is it. Okay, so right in Kenya, this is Prissy on live Saga TV, and there's a lot in politics actually. Currently we can see the Ruto allies versus the opposition, or rather, do we even call it, because we've seen attacks from Sifuna, we've seen MPs and all that, and so we are going down to that analysis. Okay, so the first move is what we can see here, the MPs actually having a hit on the president over corruption allegations. All right, so some people, when you talk about this, they are like, stop talking about it, shut up, because we can't do anything and we are tired with that noise. I'm like, why the hell give up? We don't have to give up. We have to keep talking about this because it is what it is, guys. Okay, so we start with this hot politics and MPs in the house. Let's hear this. Okay. There's a hanging effect that takes some time before opening. I don't know what this is.
Tunarudisha Mwenyezi Mungu. Hii mambo ya corruption, we are returning on the altar of God. We want to unravel the issue of corruption once and for all. Hatutaki watu wajifiche wanasema ati ni bunge, ni judiciary, ni huyu, na kumbe ndio wao wenyewe. Jificha.
Na wale wengi ambao kuna wazazi wenu wanaopewa pesa ya Inua Jamii. Hiyo pesa kutoka last week ilitumia wazazi wetu kwa MPS. Nusu ya wale walikuwa wamepata pesa last year hawakupata last week. Walikuwa wanataka kuanza kulipa wazazi wetu kwa MPS, ndio wakongwe.
Unatuambia unataka umalize corruption. When you work as a president, you are surrounded by corruption. When you look on your right, you see grand corruption. You see the Ministry of Health paying money to non-existent hospitals. Wanalipa hewa on the right. When you look on the left, you see a graveyard of corruption. You see the Ministry of Education taking money meant for our children to go to school, our brothers and sisters. The capitation meant for fees, they take that money. They pay to non-existent schools. Hewa imeenda. When you look at his bank, instead of seeing the broad-based government, you see the broad-based corruption.
BBC. Guys, and you tell me that we should stop talking about this. I can't stop talking about it because everybody's talking about it and it's a very serious matter that needs to be attended to. When you look at Kenyans, the normal Kenyan is actually suffering a lot. You go through business, you don't sell what you have to sell. And sometimes we even get people accusing us of being poor, being lazy. But in reality, it's just because we are being suffocated under systems that are actually looting from us day after day. As I talked about this, I remember mentioning the forms of corruption. The forms of corruption in Kenya are so many. We have bribery, which happens every now and then all over the places, where somebody will tell you they want tea, chai, kitu kidogo. They use all sorts of names to sanitize it, to make it look good. You know, even in schools, when you are seeking a position for your child to get admission, you find that there are schools which actually collect as much as 20,000 shillings in form of a bribe, and they'll qualify it as something to help me get for you a position or something like that. You go to people, okay, Amethyst, hi, welcome on my platform. Thank you so much for showing up your face on Live Saga TV. And sagas in the house are so many. But currently corruption is leading, all right? We know that we have impunity, we have poverty, we have diseases, we have illiteracy. But currently corruption is leading. And of course, we are going to see people trying to cover up all that. That has started, you know, and that is what we call impunity. So corruption leads, then impunity comes as people try to cover it up. Hello. Amethyst, welcome in the house, okay? Elliot Calvo is like, admin abuse today, 3 p.m. Where is that? Where is that? Okay, so this is Prissy for you on Live Saga TV. I hope those who have been watching me know me and like the video. If you have not subscribed, I think Amethyst Love is a new a new follower. So please subscribe to the channel because that's why you don't know my name, and I always say it here. This is Prissy for you into Live Saga analysis. I can hear some popping boys there. Okay, Elliot Calvo, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Kindly like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate, okay? Most people watch, but they forget to subscribe, they forget to like, and so we are not growing as we should expect, you know? A political channel always grows very fast. But if people forget to subscribe or like, sometimes we'll grow slowly. Caleb Lands and Plays. That looks like a YouTube name. Caleb Lands and Plays. Okay. Hi. Welcome to the house and like the video, please. Okay. So today you saw Babu talking about corruption, and he was at mentioning some things about corruption. What did he say? He said that the money meant for capitation in schools has been consumed. Some people take it and then they file to ghost schools. Guys, if I have to let you know, because I sometimes sell my books to schools, and I really have a problem actually selling books these days, because you go to a school and they tell you they don't have money because capitation is not in. And now we got those calculations about Mbadi telling us that, I don't know, money that was meant for the schools cannot be this. And then on the other hand, the president told us we have that money. So we were confused, guys. By the end of term 2, some schools had to close 2 weeks early. So when you hear people talking about this, it's because it's biting us deep, you know. Corruption has really opened its teeth, and it is really eating into our spaces, our businesses, and our lives in general. Thank you for the likes. I've got 3 likes. I really appreciate that from you. Now, Babu has also mentioned other things, like telling us that leaders are somehow have a circle. You remember Ichungu was talking about 150 million, and he said he had borrowed from the parliament circles. Now, I was asking myself, how do you borrow from the government circles 150 million? One person is able to borrow that. Yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, this is how corruption actually has developed and actually sent its roots deep into our systems. You know, I've mentioned to you about schools and what happens. I've mentioned to you about some things that happen all over the places. And sometimes it is supported by how we accept sometimes to receive, you know, a small gift. Like sometimes, how do you accept, like, I normally reject. When a parent tells me that they'll give me something after I help them get a position in a school for their kids, I tell them, no, let me just try. If I get the position, well and good. But don't give me something out of that. You can appreciate me another day just for being a good person, but don't give me because I've helped you to get a chance. That is a form of corruption, guys. But it is what it is. It goes on and on all over the place. Now, you've heard Wamchomba. Wamchomba has also mentioned something to do with Jinue funds, okay? And Jinue funds is something that has been open even on the internet. Okay, what do I like to do for fun? Traveling is something you can do for fun. Places, you know, you tour places and see different phenomena. It becomes a very interesting stuff. So that question of what I like to do, If there is anything I would really like to do for fun, it is traveling in different places, let's say to the lakes, to the rivers, to the oceans, to the mountains, and to different physical features, and just seeing everything around there, you know. Only that now traveling requires a lot of money. You cannot travel without money. But you actually, after traveling, the second thing I like is talking about life, just like you've said here. Okay, talking about life, talking about politics, talking about what is happening around football, volleyball, rugby, and all that. Okay, and also just looking at what people do and finding fun in that. You know, there are some very funny clips that you can watch about some videos, and you just find fun in that. Okay, yeah. So I think partly I share the second thing that I like with amethysts, the aspect of talking to people on life. Okay, so I really appreciate for that question. It is engaging and it really makes me now go on strong. All right, so you saw Mchomba sharing something here. I hope you know Mchomba. So this is what Mchomba said. I don't live in America, I live in Kenya. We are living in the second world country.
Kuna wazazi wenu wanaopewa pesa ya Inua Jamii. Hiyo pesa kutoka last week ilitumiwa wazazi wetu kwa MPesa. Nusu ya wale walikuwa
pesa ya Inua Jamii. So Inua Jamii money, I think, goes to thank you so much. Thank you. I don't live in America. I'm in Kenya. I am in Kenya. Actually, that's why I talk about Kenyan politics so much. Then I also discuss USA and the rest of the nations around the place. But I live in Kenya, a second world country that has a lot of problems. Okay. I had a very good day. A Sunday, I went to church, came back and went on with my normal day. So I had a good day. I hope you also had a good day. Okay. All right. So appreciation for engagement in the discussion. And of course, we can see Wamchomba is very vocal on the ideas of the government. Okay. Oh, amethysts, you live in America with your family. Okay. You must be lucky because we consider America as the first world country with a lot of gigs and opportunities for education, for health, and even jobs. Here in Kenya, we just have to hustle around, but we hope all will be well. We hope all will be well because currently America has decided to actually block everybody, some people, from going there. Opportunities are very slim. And we are only seeing many people now trying to go to UK and some to Canada and all that, but all is well. German, I think also some people are going. So let's hope for the best. Okay. But I know with America, those who are there, they have opportunity because the education system there is favorable. Health is also better. And jobs, you can have jobs maybe 6 hours, then you break, you rest a bit and go back 6 more hours. And the payment there is in terms of hours, not the way we do work here in Kenya, an entire day, and you just paid. You don't even know when you calculate that back to one, so disoriented. Anyway, it is what it is. That is why we are on the streets of YouTube trying to see whether we can make it here. All right, so let's look at Wamchomba. Wamchomba actually said that Jinua money, I think that's funds directed toward the old. It was sent not to everybody because some money has been squandered. So that is how actually eating into our roots. That is called the whistling of funds. Yeah, whistling of funds is also happening so much. Now, when you listen at Hamisi MP Hamisi from Pokot.
349 ulete kule bungeni.
Pokot.
67 upeleke kule Senate. 300 upeleke kule judiciary. Amen. Amen. Alafu apostle
ununue 10,000 upeleke pale State House. Because hii mambo imetushinda, tunarudisha Mwenyezi Mungu.
Okay, thank you for having been here, Amethyst. Thank you so much. I hope you will be coming back later, because the more hours you engage us, the better. We really appreciate your presence. You can go clean your room, and maybe you can later come back and watch my videos, even if it will be off live stream. I still welcome you, because that still adds up to the watch hours. So thank you so much. God bless. Okay, so we heard from the three people already what they said, and thank you. Okay, thank you so much. So the three people were actually trying to clarify that as far as the president is running away from allegations of corruption, corruption is indeed truthful and happening in government. And this sickens me. It sickens me as a citizen who is struggling. They deduct everything from your money. Even if you're doing YouTube or Facebook or whatever, they'll make sure they deduct tax from it. If you are selling any products, they'll deduct tax from it. When you are traveling from your one destination to another, you'll pay tax through that fare, because it will be hiked as a result of fuel increment. You go to the supermarket, you pay tax through the product you buy. You buy books, there is taxation happening, right? Yet, at the same time, that money is just consumed by some few people. They keep them in the pocket. That's why I think EACC should just rain on every leader. They should go through every leader, and the faster they do it, the better. Because we are tired with these corruption allegations that they just talk about it as if it is eating or taking tea. Okay? Rashid Escour, welcome on the platform. Thank you so much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel also for those who have not subscribed, as we go through this analysis of the political times. It is very harsh. It is a harsh political time when you see that people are struggling economically. You can see people are going back to school tomorrow, but I'm so sure their students will be at home for 2 weeks or 3 because they don't have fees. Why? Because the economy is very harsh. You go sell your products, you may not sell well because people don't have money, so they go for basics. I can assure you that people who can afford outings currently must be rich. Yeah? And those who can afford good meals, what they really want, not just what is there, they are very few. Why? Because the economy is very harsh. However, you can actually see again as you travel around, there are people who are raising storage houses and mansionettes a day or in a day or whatever, in a week or 2. Why? Because corruption has created a class difference. It has created those who have a lot of money because they have looted maybe, and those who are very minimal because they have no opportunity to do that. And now it comes out, as I told you, that even some students admire to be corrupt. The reality is that because when they watch and see people are accused of corruption, those people are living the best life, the life they have dreamt of. So then students say corruption is good, because when you give them an essay to argue out whether corruption should be rooted out or not, they'll say they shouldn't. Corruption is very good because it allows them to have the best life. That is the iron of the situation, the satire of the situation. So it becomes so hard unless these people are punished and they are made actually to face the wrath of their choices. There is no way we are going to tell anybody that corruption is bad. So I hope that as the president talks about it, or the MPs, let them act, because I don't see how it becomes a problem for them to lack that power to do the impeachment if that is what they should do. The impeachment can be done if they trust that there are people who have conducted corruption. They have all that power with them. All right. So coming on the platforms and talking about it, as we can see Hamisi, Babu, and Wamchomba talking, and then Sifuna here. Let's listen to Sifuna before I can proceed. It's just not right for me. Okay. But let's listen anyhow. Anyhow.
Maana ya hii vita ambayo imewekwa mbele yetu. Na tunapitia haya maneno kwa sababu sisi ndio tumekataa kupigia Nebukadneza magoti. Sisi ndio tumesema Kama ni mbaya, sisi ndio tumesema tuko tayari kukufa kwa ajili ya mambo ambayo tunaamini, kwa sababu kama viongozi ambao tunaongoza viumbe vya Mwenyezi Mungu, hatuwezi kuona mambo yakienda vibaya kwenye taifa letu.
Happy Sunday, Daniel. Berry Sport highlights. Hey, a very long name.
Without the input of members of parliament. Na ndio maana sisi tunasema hatutakubali haya maovu yote yakifanyika katika nchi yetu. Apostle, sisi hatutanyamaza. Sisi hatutanyamaza. Vile nimekuambia, tuko tayari kuuawa kama ni yeye ndiye anachukua kukomboa Kenya yetu. Ya mwisho kabisa, tumewaambia haijalishi unajenga barabara aina gani, haujalishi unajenga soko ngapi, kama unajengea hizo soko watu ambao umepiga risasi kwa mguu wajivurute wakiingia kwa hiyo soko.
So Sifuna came ballistic about the president, actually still reminding him about the risasi ya mguu. Risasi ya mguu. Hey, and of course all of you have seen the memes in Kenya about the shooting of the legs, something that the president said, and it came out in a very bad way, okay? And so Sifuna is actually slowly destroying the president, and he says he's ready to die because he's not willing to actually kneel to Nebuchadnezzar. I hope that is truthful, because at some point again, some critics came out to talk about Sifuna, especially Oroba. If you listen to Gloria Oroba, you understand what I'm talking about. So guys, let's continue liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and share my videos. Daniel Berry Sports highlights, a very long name. Welcome here. Thank you so much for showing up. I saw you yesterday and I really appreciate that you came back. Subscribe to the channel, guys, like the video and share the videos too. Yeah, so you can see the theatrics of absurdity coming up in parliament, okay? Day after day, people standing up to to testify, to actually cast, to kind of nudge and all that, okay? So we are like, what exactly should you do? Should you be talking in church? Should you be talking in parliament? Or should you be acting? Because I would actually look forward to that moment when action becomes better than just words. We always say actions are better than words, okay? So we are waiting, but it was good as we were hopeful. Now we don't have any hope anymore, because the current citizen is suffocating, still in rental houses, not able to construct houses because things have gone so high. And these are the taxes they raised because they were saying they are developing the country. But instead of that, now they have come up with theatrics drama to show us that there is a lot of corruption in the country. So what do we do as citizens? Do you want us to be pessimistic and despair? Just as you come up in churches and smile and talk about and say you are not going to give up, what action do you take as leaders? Ladies and gentlemen, that is my question that I have to raise here. Because in the good spirit, if these people have, they are fighting in good spirit, they should act instead of just saying. Instead of speaking, they should act, okay? Yeah, so guys, continue liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's actually have an opportunity to have the best algorithms for ourselves. Okay. So you realize that many people are now joining Gachagua. Those times when Gachagua was speaking alone, there were those who were saying that Gachagua is just a bitter politician who was impeached, and that is an action that he has shown by responding in theatrics. But what is happening now? What is happening? Let's check.
JTM, mnaniona vizuri? Kabla watunyoroshe, Mwenyezi Mungu atakuwa amewanyorosha. Mwenyezi Mungu atakuwa amewanyorosha. Wameuza mashirika yetu. Wewe unajua, umeambia waumini wako, mimi nilizaliwa Bungoma. Huko Bungoma sisi ni wakulima wa miwa. Tumepiga kelele kadri ya uwezo wetu, tukawaambia wasiuze Nzoia, wakauza. Saa hii kuna kilio kule Bungoma, yule ambaye alinunua Nzoia anaenda kufuta wafanyikazi wote wale walikuwa pale. Hao watu nani atasomesha watoto wao? Nani atapatiana chakula kwa hizo familia? Mheshimiwa, waliuza pan paper huko Bungoma. Wakatudanganya kwamba wanaenda kufufua pan paper. Wakaenda pale, wakachoma masakari. Mnajua masakari? Wale wa Nairobi, masakari ni ile muti ya mahindi imekauka. Wanapiga moshi hivi inatoka mingi, wanasema wamefufua pan paper. Baada ya wiki moja hakuna kitu kinaendelea pale. Wakauza mashamba ya pan paper. Leo hii wanasema wanataka kuuza Kenya Pipeline without the input of members of parliament. Na ndio maana sisi tunasema hatutakubali.
All right, so guys, Sifuna had to come out and reveal why the president came out bitterly talking about corruption, and he indicates that the government has been selling a lot of public farms, including Nzoia, which was sold, and now the owner wants to actually do away with all the workers that were there. So it will lead to poverty because the people who are working in the farm will be jobless, and at the end of the day, their children will not go to school because they won't have a living. Yeah, and these people generally will become poor. The reality also that he has shared is that Pan Paper, Webuye Pan Paper, by the way, that place has become a ghost town. That town was growing very fast, and people looked into investing in Webuye, but currently the business right there is not booming. Why? Because according to what Sifuna shares, Pan Paper was actually, they pretended they are actually reviving it only to ban the suckers. Let's say they just banned stuff from the maize and there was a lot of smoke coming out emitted, and people thought that that company had come up, but nothing has gone on. Instead, they have sold the land of that place, and currently they want to sell Pipeline as a company, and of course all of you understand what Kenya Pipeline means. Kenya Pipeline is a great company that has hired a lot of Kenyans and is actually running into business. These are things that people said. I remember, by the way, during the campaign time, a lot of people said these things, that it will happen. Onyonka, also Senator Onyonka, said these things as early as January during Adani saga. He indicated that most corporates in Kenya are being sold and some people are owning some part of it, so that even if they walk out of leadership, they'll be billionaires and trillionaires of this world, because like Kenya Ports Authority, we had Kenya Pipeline, we had the anything to do with the parliament and all that. So if people have that ability to own and sell the corporates, you can imagine what will happen. So in Kenya, we'll have a very wide gap. The rich up there and very few, while the poor will be down there. So that gap will actually create a seasoned, continuous cycle of poverty that will then make some people to be leaders forever, while others will be subjects forever. And that is the reality. If you understand about Smith politics, the Smith talks about the haves and have-nots under his theory of argument. Okay, and if you've gone through psychology, you understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's now talk about. Let's see what Ruto has said. He has dared the MPs to impeach him, and he has talked using CS Wandai actually. So let's look into that politics right away.
Is Kenya about to witness the biggest showdown yet between parliament and the presidency? Now that's the storm building in Nairobi's political space right now, and if you thought these two arms of government could work,
unaongea kama nani? Unaongea kwa niaba ya nani? Na wewe uko na nguvu ya kutoka wapi Kenya hii? Wewe nani amekupatia nguvu ya kuweka na kutoa rais? Wewe ni nani? Vinyangarika wa kome hiyo tabia, ndio? Unapata mbunge ambaye amechaguliwa term moja, amekuwa bunge hata term moja jamaliza. Mbunge hata term moja atamaliza bungeni, na anajitokeza kwa hadharani mchana na anatoa vitisho vya baridi.
Now, according to him, MPs do not have the power.
So Wandai has dared the MPs to impeach the president, and he has called Vinyangarike. Vinyangarike is like trash, something useless. Okay?
Hautamtoa, si ndio? Yes. Lazima ujue ya kwamba hata ingawa ulimpigia kura ukamweka kwa kiti, sisi vile vile tumeamua hatutakuruhusu umtoe. Na wakati wa kura utakapofika, vile baba Raila alisema juzi, wakati wa kura utakapofika, tutajua mbivu na mbichi. His stinging remarks were sparkling.
Of course, you understand very well that we had a whole proposal in Parliament indicating that they are going to impeach the president. And so this reaction has come out with Wandai trying to defend the president and saying that there is no power that can actually allow any of them to impeach the president. How true is this? And how is this a mere threat, or are they now going to form the allies of Ruto against the allies of, I don't know who else, of the opposition? Because it stands out that currently we have now those who are for president and those who are not for. Of course, here we clearly see, we'll clearly see people like Oscar Sudi. We have Farouk. We have seen Wandai, Badi. We've seen, who else? The guy was talking about he has a sweet in the mouth and cannot speak anymore. The former governor of Kakamega. Okay? Such people are actually into the aspect of let it be. No matter what, let it be what it is. We are going to make sure that he is not impeached. While on the other hand, we have those who are saying they'll be impeached now. They'll be impeaching. Now, our question as Kenyans is just this. What is good for Kenya? What is good for Kenya? Because what matters currently is what is good for Kenya. Because if we are suffocating in 2 years or 3, however much they talk about, let's give time. I don't know. So, of course, Ichung'wah has come out clearly and said that even the president is not taking his calls. And Ruto has been threatening to dissolve the parliament. It's not known when, but that is loading. Continue subscribing to the channel, like the video as we watch this. Let's look at this. Even though Kimani Ichung'wah is actually trying to refute those claims, but we saw Murkomen in Meru and what he said. We'll be checking on that receipt. Listen to that.
But a member of parliament called Kimani Mzee Moi, former President Moi, know what Kamuth had done that would have taken him to prison, that Moi saved him from. The long and short.
Let's wait a bit on this. Okay. Now, guys, away from that, we have a meeting that Matiang held with a lot of other people. Let's check on that also.
For the first time in the east of this country, we are seeing a lot of political intolerance in this country. Kenya Kwanza, they seem to be so much scared to an extent. Sasa mtu kutoka ng'ambo kuja hapo, why do you have to send goons and the thugs to attack an armless person? Na waizi wako kila mahali, simwende mshike waizi. Sasa mnasumbuana na mtu from just airport kwenda kwa nyumba yake na akisalimia watu, iko shida gani? Well, we have so much political intolerance in this country, particularly from the ruling class, to an extent hatujui inchi wanapeleka wapi. Today, this country called Kenya is a laughing stock. Hata nchi ambazo zimeshindwa na kuendelea, hata zingine ziko na vita kati yao. Siku hizi wanaangalia Kenya, wanasema hii ni nchi gani? Nchi imerudi chini. Nchi ambayo rais wake tunaambiwa is the most corrupt in Africa and the second in the world. Sasa unaenda ulimwenguni kuzungumzia nini, useme nini? Who is going to come here and invest in this country?
So that is Mwangangi, okay? Mwangangi was actually slamming the government over the heavy security detail at the airport. As much as many people are trying to actually pull it down and say that it did not have an impact, like I saw Herman Manyora saying that it was not impactful, but there is some impact a little bit. Only that now the opposition is actually straining to understand who will vie for the presidential seat. And of course, as we look into that, let's check on why we had Matiang'i meeting a lot of people. That was the first video I wanted to check on. Let me just check on it. Yeah. Let's check on this. Yeah. So, of course, all of us know that Fred Matiang'i met powerful figures in Karen. Okay? Hi. Let's see this. So Fred Matiang'i met about 6 people in Karen, and his interest is actually to solicit for votes from different parts of Kenya. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's look at that. I'm just clicking the video so that I show you what I want to do. And I really appreciate your presence here. I don't take it for granted. Whenever you come to my channel, I really appreciate, because it is through you that I grow, guys. Sasa mnang'ang'ania hapa alafu mnataka kuniwekea maji. Let's look at this. Okay, maybe we may not find it right here. Let's check Le Queen's video. It has something to do with that. These are sponsored.
It is necessary to make sure that William Ruto is a one-term president of PNU Party. Remember, PNU Party belonged to Mwai Kibaki. He also met with Jeremiah Kioni, Jubilee Party Secretary General. Fred Matiang'i met with Peter Munya.
So, of course, among the people whom Matiang'i met is Peter Munya, and of course you understand who Peter Munya is.
Of PNU Party.
PNU Party leader, Peter Munya. He also met with Jeremiah.
The truth is, Fred Matiang'i is planning to run.
Jeremiah Kiuno. Let me show the pictures here. All right, guys. So you've seen that he was there in that meeting. All right. The second figure that was there is here. You know him.
The truth is, Fred Matiang'i is planning to run on Jubilee Party. He also met with...
Okay. This guy was there in the meeting. You know him? All right. We also had the presence of Lenny Kivuti.
Revolution Empowerment Party.
Nemu Party. We had this guy there in the meeting. Lenny Kivuti. All right. Who else was in the meeting? We had this guy here.
Leader of UPA. Sorry, Matiang'i.
We had this guy who is a leader of UPA party. And who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? All right. So those are the guys who are there in the meeting with Matiang at Karen. All right. So that is possibly a master plan he has. Maybe he wants to have an umbrella alliance because, of course, if you realize, if you listen at Kalonzo Musyoka and Gachagua was like, let us all solicit for votes, then bring on the table. You know, Gachagua with shares, guys. So he wants people to come on the table with shares and indicate how strong their place is. He doesn't want people to come around and begin to campaign for being a presidential member before they know how many shares they are coming with on the table. Okay. We also understand that Matiang'i actually worked very well with Uhuru Kenyatta. And I was asking myself a question. In case Uhuru goes close to Ruto, will Matiang'i really reject the offer from the government? That's a question I'm just asking. You can type in the comment section based on what you think or what you believe, guys. Okay? So that is the strategy that Matiang'i has already come up with to meet these leaders with an interest actually to form an alliance possibly. Because we do not know behind the cameras what they discussed. They have not shared it yet, okay? And yesterday you saw I did an analysis of Matiang's statements in the USA. If you looked at my video, you can check. And before we even go further, guys, take a moment and like the video. Like the video. And also subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell so that in case you are interested in our analysis, you have YouTube automatically alerting you about our new videos. And of course, currently I'm doing live stream most of the times because I am focusing on building the watch hours and building subscribers before I can focus on now posting videos, short videos, maybe 7 minutes and so forth. All right. But currently I'm doing live streams, maybe targeting 1 hour and such. All right. So let's proceed to see inside Parliament and the reshuffle that wants to stabilize his presidency.
This is your moment in the sun. Here's to you, the Mukuru champions. The inspiration
The
for all.
adverts.
Now, President William Ruto's cabinet reshuffle triggered by the Gen Z uprising of 2024, when the day one cabinet was disbanded and has continued to as recently as April 2025.
Hey, Trisa.
Emerged as Ruto's most vocal defenders, actively campaigning for his 2027 re-election across their traditional strongholds.
Our support for President Ruto is not ending tomorrow. It is support that is going to the maximum possible end. And that maximum possible end is 2030, 2032. There is no doubt whatsoever.
Their transformation from opposition critics to passionate advocates of the Kenya Kwanza government portrays a complete political conversion, surprising both allies and critics.
Between William Samoei Ruto na wote ambao wanampinga, there is no comparison.
I, Mutahi Kagwe. Yet their counterparts from the Mount Kenya region have maintained conspicuous silence despite being appointed specifically to counter the region's growing opposition to Ruto's presidency. Brought in January of 2025, months after the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who went ahead to spoil the party for Ruto in the Mount.
Of course, guys, I was just going to that video to show you something about the reshuffles and what it was meant for. And when you talk about the current possibility of actually dissolving the parliament, that has been said. Not clearly known when, but there is a possible dissolution.
This is the fifth estate, coming to you from the Fort Hall School of Government in Allow us to break it down.
An alliance between Babaman and Ruto is a dangerous political asset. It is a lethal machine. And if Ruto is executing a scheme, he is doing it with Raila. In the meantime, our MPs cannot discern the scheme. They say cream will always rise to the top, but our MPs are the cream of the crop. No imagination, zero discernment, and the brains of an ox. Dear MPs, Kenyans do not like you. In fact, 80% of you will be thrown out of parliament in 2027 if the past trends will repeat themselves. If you are this unpopular, what is the point of keeping you until 2027? And this brings us to the scheme that you are not reading. The president will dissolve parliament, period. And he will do it using a constitutional advisory sent to Uhuru Kenyatta by Maraga in September 2020. And this would apply to all presidents after Uhuru.
All right, you heard that. You got it. You got it in article. And so the drama goes on. The drama goes on day after day, day after day. No delivery of what the Kenyans asked for. No delivery for what the Kenyans actually demanded or voted for. But it's all about buried secrets. It's all about a game of numbers. It's all about a game of emotions. It's all about a game of power day after day. For how long will this go on? You know? Because as they continue to fight, the battle of the bulls only hurts. It only hurts us as the citizens. So will we be continuing to tolerate, or will we become intolerant? And by which way will we fail? Will we act in the right way that will save us from this mayhem? Because it's all about everybody defending their position. And they have the power, they have the money, they have the finances. Guess, for example, if Kimani Ichung'wah, the allegations are right, and he's talking about 150 million already secured and placed somewhere. Does he have any loss to make? Talk about Wetangula. If there is anything to do with looting or receiving money and it's in the pocket, will we save anything? Not at all. But we can save the nation if we actually talk about these sagas and see a way forward and decide, make a proper decision on elections. Because that is the only tool we have. As they threaten about impeachment, we are not sure whether they are going to act. But as for us, we have a real impeachment in elections. Looking for the right leaders, listening to the right leaders, and watching actions rather than words. Because most politicians are sweet. They have the sweetest tongue ever. But the promises they make soon dissolve once they step in parliament and they begin to act in a different way. They have a different face altogether. And all that Kenyans have to face is problem after problem. We change the forests, but we don't change the monkeys. The monkeys are all the same. So the game continues. The football of 2200 is still the football of 2010, 2020, 2030, and it goes on and on. And guess who the ball is? It is the citizens. Unfortunately, the citizens are the ball that is being hit every day by the footballers who are the politicians, because we are the subjects. So finally, the footballers go home, they wash their dirty linen, they wash their jeans as the ball remains dirty. And if the ball is torn, the players have no loss. After all, They can hire a new coach, and the coach will continue to give them mentorship into how to play their game again. And the balls will always be bought. Can you guess what? Through the little sugar, through the 200 when you queue on the line. That is what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. All right? So it's like a football. Just guess. Are you going to be the ball which will be bought and torn anytime and thrown to the trash? Or are you going to be that expensive ball that will steadily sit on the shelf and reject being used all the time by the footballer? As the footballer plays all the time, they can knock you up and down and challenge you because they know mentality zero, focus zero, awareness zero, because some of our citizens don't want to know. You know, you begin to talk about politics and they're like, shut up, because they don't want to know. They don't want to know what is happening. Ask somebody about the corruption allegations, they do not have details about it. And even those who hear, they say they don't want to listen to it anymore because there is nothing they can do. Is there room for disillusionment? I don't believe so. I am a poet, by the way, but I don't want to go deep into poetry currently. I'm just speaking out my mind based on what we've watched today, based on the few videos we've watched, and based on the discussions we've had. We began with Hamisi, for example, Babu Owino wa Mchomba. We went to Sifuna. Does it mean they were waiting for this moment? Were they waiting for this moment for the president to speak, for them to speak? Why were they quiet all that while? Is it because they were safe players in the field? Is it because the coach was actually coaching them in the right direction then? And now they feel they need a new coach. So now they come back to the ball. And as they hit it along, they give their campaign strategies. All we have to do as Kenyans is to actually get that sense in our mentalities. Be informed. We should be aware about what is happening. We should be aware about what we need. We should be aware about what our future is, because we have no excuse. What will we tell our kids? What will we tell our future? How will we turn around the clock? The economy can be very harsh because these people are taxing everything, including content creation, which we do using our bundles. So they tax us even triple. You do your work of your normal job, you are taxed on the payroll, at the same time you are taxed on the hustle that you have to conduct. They squeeze you all your energy because you have to work from maybe 8 to 4. Yet they compare themselves to developed nations where you work for 6 hours and you are paid per hour. So I don't think that it is right for us to just keep quiet and expect that things will change. It's about us to talk about it, to actually interpret, read the politics, try to determine the systems. Moses Kuria talked about a long-term plan that has to be made. The aspect of 1 term, 2 term is not enough. It's about a long-term plan for Kenyans. If we have to really save our face, because out there currently we are known as the most corrupt country. We are known as the most corrupt country, violent country, you know. And if we don't take a lot of sense, our health, our education will be rating low. The only thing we have currently is that Kenya at least rates high in terms of education. But still we are not up there, because when you go to other countries, we have to go back to school and reread, restudy. Remember, so many people are running away from Kenya. But guess how many are able to do so and go for better opportunities? It is not everybody. It is just the few who are lucky. So we have to look into this, ladies and gentlemen, or else complaining is not enough. Keeping quiet about it is the worst decision ever. Failing to vote, it is the very lowest decision that one can make, because when we fail to vote, we indirectly vote people who are not right, the people who are not, you know, who are not supposed to serve us. And when we give room for the broad-based considerations, you've actually heard from Babu, we know that becomes a broad-based corruption, a farm in which people will milk and go, as the rest remain to take black tea all their life. And if you really learn sociology, you understand the aspect of recycling poverty. The recycling of poverty starts from political view. The leaders we have today determine whether tomorrow will be poor or better. So we have to actually do a thorough analysis all the time. We have to start as early as this. Let's not be cheated with the little gifts, offers on queues, people queuing for lessons, people queuing for sugar, people queuing for 100 shillings, waking up at 4 to go queue for 50 shillings. In a day, you run from one queue to another, collect 200 shillings, and then you smile and say, I've got it, and then go sell your vote. These are the politics of the ostrich, guys. The ostrich hides its head and believes it's safe, but it's never safe at all, because the entire body is out and it can be hit at any time. What should I say? I've talked too much anyway. Just a freelance speech that I've shared here, but it's fireworks, guys. It's fireworks, it's bombshell, it is mayhem, it is farce. I don't know what to say, but it's a whole mixture of poor stuff, poorly cooked food, guys. So I hope that we Kenyans will be in our rightful sense all the day. We'll be ready to listen to information and actually gather evidence against some of these leaders who are talking to us when they themselves are looting from us, when they themselves are masterminds of bribery, of whistling funds, of deals, manipulation, and all other forms of corruption that I've mentioned before. So guys, I think this is a challenge that we have to take. You, me, you and me, we take it so that we can be at a higher level. We can be at a better position tomorrow. We don't have to stick in the mud because we are pushed there. No one says that when you are pushed in mud, you have to stick there. You have always to reform. That is the way. When you talk about Ibrahim Traore, for example, many people are referring to him. It's not just because it's something that happened suddenly. It was a decision made. A decision intentionally made. So we have to make intentional decisions in our establishments, in our homes, in our institutions, in our corporations, in our minds. And it starts with the mindset. The mind should tell us the right thing to do. We see with our eyes and we hear every now and then. We hear, we see. Do we use our 5 senses we applied in nursery school? I hope we start doing so. So guys, like the video, share the video, and let's actually grow every day knowing that politics is not something we just gamble around with. It's nothing we can ignore. It is something that is a tool we can use for the better of a nation. So thanks guys for coming around. I've seen a lot of people coming around, but the likes, guys, today people are so mean with the likes, I don't know. Give the likes, subscribe to the channel, and remember sharing my videos so that we grow the channel to the highest level and be able to reach a great number of people, whether in Kenya or in any other nation. Because here we focus on unraveling the sagas, opening them, operating them like the doctor, and checking the insides and repairing them. And that is why we feel like, you people, let's grow. Support me to grow so that we can reach a lot of people and actually have the right mindset and education that they really require. Thank you, and bye-bye for now, because we've spent enough already. Already we've spent 1 hour. And we've gone through the enough analysis based on what we've seen on the battle right ahead of us. Bye bye for now. Let me have my supper. Me